Hey dude, I'm gonna walk through your app with you and show you some things you can do to get this taken care of. Immediately see why the score's not resetting now that I'm looking at it again. I don't know why I missed it before, but let's go through some things. Um, so up here you've got your ints, your score count, and your total score, and a string for your toast message. Inside of compute question one score, you don't need to recast these here, so you can actually take this off. So they can go like that. It doesn't matter. There's no law against putting that cast there. It just, you don't need it. Okay, so let's go through this here. Um, these type of comments, these are block comments, and they're generally reserved for JavaDoc. Um, so what you want to do, you want to take those comments and just put them behind two slashes like that. A JavaDoc is if you do this and hit enter, it'll automatically generate a JavaDoc block, which is just a return statement, and you give a general description of the method. Let me see if there's actually down here where you have, if you do a JavaDoc here, you can see it gives you the parameter view. It's void, so it's not returning anything, so it doesn't have a return statement. So that's JavaDoc. Okay, so let's go through. So you've got count bears, count packs, count giants, count redskins, and counts all above. So you're doing your check there right, and you're incrementing your score counter correctly. Now on all of these methods, you have this else block. You don't need it because you're not calculating anything right now. That's wrong. In order to calculate the wrong answers, you're going to need another integer variable. So you're going to need another integer variable, initialize it to 0, and then inside of this else, you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to use wrong answers. And so that way, at the end, you can calculate the answers that are wrong. So here you've got the Boolean, you're checking, you've got the score counter going up, now you got the wrong answers. Same thing here. So now we've got the score counter and we've got the wrong answers. Compute question 2 score. Over here, if this is wrong, it's automatically setting back to 0. You don't want to do that. And the reason we're getting rid of those toasts is because down here in calculate total score, you're calculating a toast message down here. None of those other toast messages are ever going to get output. Okay, so you got total score is that. And you don't need to do this here. Let me see. Wait a sec. Yeah, you do because of the way you set it up. And really, you could go through these methods and you could make them all void and just not return score counter because they're global. So this is going to update this global variable. So you don't technically have to return anything. You can make these methods void, but you can do it this way too. It's totally up to you. It's perfectly fine. It's not it's not a wrong way to do it. So then you have your toast message and you get toast. So you're showing the toast. And so now what you can do in here, so you total score, score counter, points out of a possible 4 points, but you got wrong. And so now what will happen is we'll get the wrong, we'll get the number of wrong. So now the reset score, and this is what I was saying that I noticed right away. So down here, we're resetting total score. And if I go find this, you're pushing it here, total score. You're not actually using it. You're using score counter here. So you're never actually using total score. So you can replace that with this. Now, total score will reset. And down here, we're going to want to do that too. So in all actuality, you can eliminate this. Let's see, calculate total score. Yeah, no, the way you have your method set up, that's the way you do it. So this is fine. And so this way, what's going to happen is both of those are going to get reset. And so now we should see the total score go back to 0. Yeah, so let's test it out. I'm also going to show you something I noticed that's going to give you a lot of problems and possibly crash the app. And actually, I'll test to see if it crashes the app here while I've got this up. So I already know the answer to this is all the above. You know, this is the Niners. I only know this stuff because I've been working on your app. I don't know anything about sports. I'm going to put this one wrong on purpose. I'm going to put this one wrong on purpose. So when I hit submit, it should say you got 2 right out of 4, but I got 2 wrong. Score 7 points. So let's see what happened. I think the issue is this here. Because what we're doing is you're incrementing throughout the app. So let's do a refactor real quick. I'm going to show you how to do this. So I'm going to go in through here. I'm going to make these all void. Why are you? Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter. All right, so now what I just did is I made these all void methods and I took out the return statement because what was happening is because you were going through here and returning and then you were resetting the value in another, you were adding on to the score. That's why your score was doubling. So now, if I'm not dumb, this should work. We also need to do Wrong answers equals 0 here. Got to reset that as well. Save it. Start the emulator. That one right. I'll get this one right. And I'll get the other two wrong. There we go. So now we're going to do it again. We'll try it again. So now it's working just the way that you want it to work. However, now I'm going to see if I can crash it. It didn't crash it. But so what happened here is under each of these in your XML, you're using single radio buttons. You need to use a radio group. You shouldn't be able to click a radio button. You should only be able to click one of them. And if you click on one of the other answers, that should go away. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So in your XML, what we're going to do here is under here, I'm going to just start a new thing here. So you're going to do a radio group. Give it wrap content and wrap content. Give it an ID. Why is it giving me? Oh, because I'm outside of the. Duh. Okay, now notice this is an enclosing tag, so we need to add things in here. This is where you add your radio buttons in. And so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take these 4 radio buttons. Oh, come on, keyboard. Okay, so I'm going to put them inside this radio group. And now what's going to happen is when I rerun your app, you're going to see that you're only going to be able to click on one of them. And so now you can only click on one of them at a time. So you can't select more than one at a time. And that's the behavior you're going to want. That's probably the behavior the reviewer is going to look for. In order to get the output of the radio button, where we're at, that was question 4. So you have this here. This might work actually. Let me see. Yep, that's not going to work. So you have to do you have to get the value a little bit different with a radio group. So the way I did it, and I will show you. Find question 4 again. So the way I did it is I did. Gotta cast it. So radio group, the variable name. We'll need to cast that again. And it's not going to, that was radio group. So radio group. So this gets us the radio group. And then and you can probably hear my kids in the background. And, I'm just going to bring this is my quiz app. I'm just going to bring it over here. So I've instantiated the radio groups, the variables for the radio groups, the checkboxes, the edit text, and then my scores. Down on create, I cast those, don't cast them, I get those views into these variables. And then I have one method that checks all of the answers. So for the radio groups, let's see. Actually, I have two methods. Get radio answer. That's the best way to explain this. So this is checkbox answers. Radio groups, checkbox. If question 1 equals get string RID question 1 answer. That is I cannot spell in one answer right there. So that's my radio group. And then under that, I have question 1 answer 1, 2, and 3. So if it's 2, that second view, I increase the score. So that is how you get the radio group, the selected option. And so string 1, get radio group answer, which is a method that I made. And I'm giving it an integer of ID. And this also handles the case of them not making a selection. The ID does not equal -1. That means they did make a selection. So get the radio button by the ID that I passed in. I passed in question 1 answers. That's the radio group. Then I got the string is the answer, which is the get selected radio button dot get text dot get string and answer. Otherwise, it didn't choose an answer and return. Yeah, so that's how I did mine. That's how I suggest you might want to think about incorporating into your app, because I don't know if the reviewer is going to be looking for this type of behavior or if they're just not going to care about that. So I don't know what the reviewer is going to do, but that's the walkthrough. I hope this makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, let me know. Like maybe I can go a little slower. I think I'm going a little fast, but yeah. So there we go.